And it seems like this woman just couldn't control herself over and over again.
And with a former Spring Branch ISD teacher who is once again in trouble with the law.
School teacher Kathrine Murray first made headlines months ago when she was charged with having sex with one of her middle school students. Well, she's back in the news again tonight as prosecutors say that's not the only crime she committed.
In the afternoon of February 23, 2012, Memorial Middle School teacher 29-year-old Kathrine Murray was arrested and charged with 3 counts of sexual abuse of a child and 1 count of improper relation with a student for having a sexual contact with a 15-year-old boy in her classroom, in a hotel room, and at his parents' house. On February 11, 2012, around 11:50 p.m., a 12-year-old boy entered the room of his 15-year-old brother and found a tan bra and a used condom on the floor. Then he saw his brother in bed under the covers. He noticed the outline of a second person in there with him. At the time, they were left home alone by their parents. His brother told the other person to say hi to him, and when she responded with Hola, he recognized the voice as that of 29-year-old Miss Kathrine Murray from Memorial Middle School in Costa Rica. And around 12:30 a.m., she left the house, saying adios to him on the way out. The 12-year-old told his parents what had happened, and on February 20, the 15-year-old admitted to his mother that he had sex with the teacher at their house. Later that day, the victim was interviewed by police. He told them that he was in love with Mrs. Murray. He said the night she came over, he got her a can of beer, but she didn't drink it. And after the assault, she told him that what they had done was bad. Police adds that on the night before, on February 10, 2012, the 8th grade student was dropped off at the school dance by his father, and Kathrine picked him up and took him to a hotel for 2 hours where they had sex. Kathrine, who attended both Memorial Middle and Memorial High School growing up, taught at Memorial Middle for 3 years as a language artist teacher. On her 3rd year, she started keeping the boy after school and passing him notes that contained promises of a happy life together. Investigators said the teacher and student began a sexual relationship in her classroom on February 7, 2012.
Well, first of all was my son was still at school. Then immediately I have emailed the teacher asking why my son is there after school. And then several times she says, we're working in a project and homeworks and a test, knowing that my son barely speaks any English. So I always say, if my son is there after school, I need to have an email. He is in your classroom and what time he's coming home, which we live a few minutes away from the school. And I even sent a couple emails and that I do speak English as my husband, and we also can be paying private tours for for my son to study.
And then Jenny, sorry to interrupt you, but Jenny, then I understand that there was a text that you actually got that was meant
yes, I did.
Right for your son, and she accidentally sent it to you. And what did that text say?
Yes, the Monday was a Monday. Previous to the Monday, my son went to school dance, and I left using my phone, and I was with the doctor, and then I was sitting in the lobby when I received the test, and I keep looking at the phone. I thought, nah, I might be wrong. I mean, this not might be for me. And I read on the tab her name, Kathrine Murray, and I went to the restroom, and I was passing out in the restroom. I had to go back to the doctor, and I even had to ask the doctor if he could put an injection for my migraines because I was fainting in the doctor's office, which I could not say why. Immediately I called my husband, immediately I called the school, and I met with the principal, and I showed the phone, and the phone says, don't worry about it, we work this together, and I love you.
I love you.
And of course, when I see, I love you, of course, when I see those messages in the phone, I mean, I read it maybe 20 times because I could not believe what was in this message. I could not believe that she sent the message to my son.
Police also interviewed another teacher at Memorial Middle School who said she'd seen the victim in Murray's classroom after school as late as 5:30 p.m. She also said the victim told her on February 9 that he was in love with Mrs. Murray and that they had kissed in her classroom. Once school officials were notified about the allegation, they fired Kathrine. She was arrested late in the afternoon on February 23 and charged with 3 counts of sexual abuse of a child and 1 count of improper relationship with a student.
This 15-year-old boy apparently got in some sort of romantic relationship with this 28-year-old teacher who was teaching him English. He was an ESL student. We understand that they had sex once in the classroom. They even got a hotel room together. She got a hotel room, I should say, after a school dance. And then the cat finally came out of the bag when they went to his parents' home and apparently had sex there. His 12-year-old brother walked in on them in bed and saw a used condom on the floor. Can you believe that, Rita? With a used condom on the floor along with a bra. It's unbelievable.
It is
And so this 12-year-old boy tells his mother about it, and that's when the cat finally gets out of the bag.
When 29-year-old Kathrine Murray made her last court appearance in March, she had to answer to only 1 charge of sex abuse of a child. Next time it will be for 2 more, as well as a charge of having an improper relationship with a 15-year-old student. Once evidence of a sex crime surfaced earlier this year, Spring Branch ISD Police Chief Chuck Bronner says they kept digging.
And we will not stop until we get to the end of it.
Already charged with having sex with the boy at his home, Murray is now accused of having 2 more rendezvous inside her classroom at Memorial Middle School. Surveillance videos say police put the 2 together at the school back in February. Friday night of that same week, the boy had his father drop him off at the school for the 8th grade dance, but instead, Murray picked him up and took him to this nearby hotel where records say they were also caught on camera coming and going.
Kathrine paid the $50,000 bail, but she must wear an ankle bracelet because Kathrine told another teacher that she had emptied her bank account and bought a plane ticket to Mexico, where her brother lives. She was also restricted by a restraining order from going near the teen. However, while free on bail, she was rearrested after the teen ran away from home only to be found at her house. She was denied bail after being charged with hiding a runaway child.
Well, of course, she is in trouble with the law again, Vicente. As you and Reiko said, 29-year-old Kathrine Murray was arrested last night at her father's home. This time, the charge against her is harboring a runaway child. And that child, now 16, is the same boy who was at the center of last year's sexual assault case. At one time, Murray had been an 8th grade teacher at Memorial Middle School. That came to an end as she was accused of having sex with the boy at his home, at a hotel, and even 2 times in her own classroom. She eventually bonded out and was ordered by a judge to not have any contact with the teen or with any kid for that matter. She was also required to wear a GPS tracking device. But then last night, officers received a tip from a private investigator that Murray was again with the teen. When they arrived at the father's home, they say the teen tried to sneak out the back door. They also believe that he and Kathrine Murray had a plan to sneak to Mexico. Because her alleged crime this time is a misdemeanor, the judge said she was unable to revoke her bond. However, she did set it at $100,000 and requested that Murray surrender her passport.
Officers met with the juvenile's mother and father, who stated that the juvenile, who is 16 years old, had left their house without permission and had went to the defendant's house. He is the victim in the sexual assault case.
In court, in December 2013, the teacher pleaded guilty to 2 counts of sexual assault of a child and 1 count for improper relationship with a student. In a plea deal that would drop the teen's runaway hiding charge, she was sentenced to a year in jail and a year of probation. However, that plea deal did not meet the minimum requirement for the charges, and she had to be resentenced. Kathrine has remained in Harris County Jail since then. Kathrine's attorney called the family therapist to the stand, testifying that Kathrine suffered from depression and other mental health problems and should be committed to a mental health facility, but the judge sided with the prosecution. The teen's mother gave a victim impact statement in which she pleaded with Kathrine to leave the boy alone. I am asking you, Kathrine Murray, to keep away from my son. He has the right to be happy and put this behind him. After her original sentence of 1 year in jail did not meet the sentencing guidelines, the judge resentenced Kathrine Murray to 2 years in prison. But since she has been in Harris County Jail since January of 2013, he gave her credit for time served and ordered her release from jail. However, the judge said she will now have to register as a sex offender for life. Kathrine also faces no probation or parole, but been ordered to surrender her teaching license. The victim's mother said she was not happy with the outcome. We are very disappointed with the sentence and never agreed with the sentence. We are still working hard to put our family back together, she said.
To Alex, who's the father. Alex, I want to ask you, because I understand your son is just devastated by this whole thing. How is he doing? There's word he may be on suicide watch. Is that right, Alex?
Yes, he was on suicide watch when after all this developed, and he's doing much better. We have him in a boarding school right now where he's watched 24/7. He's taking depression medicine, so in order for him not to miss school, we had to put him in this boarding school. So he's also getting educated. He's finishing school, but to be honest with you, we have not told him about the sentencing yet because we don't know how he will react at this point. So we went to see him this weekend, and we saw that he's made a lot of progress. There's several steps to the school where you have to graduate from each step, and he's graduated from all the steps. He's doing much better.
As for Kathrine, she's still listed as living in the same home in Northwest Houston with her husband.